Section 6. Let the data talk. Visualizing data. Data visualization is a lot more creative and colorful than you might think. Great visualizations can help you convey something more precisely and in a more impactful manner. Here we cover the most important aspects of visualization using the ggplot functions in R. We will begin with the short introduction to the building visualizations. Then we will move on to understand what do we mean by the geometry types and the aesthetics. After that, we will be spending some time on learning how we can beautify our visualizations, and then we will close the section with a short case study on visualization. Building visualizations and introduction. In this video, we will look at the ggplot functions introduction, grammar of graphics, and some examples to understand the grammar of graphics. ggplot2 is the most popular and fully featured data visualization package for R. The power of ggplot2 comes from the fact that it allows you to build and customize the graphics in exactly the manner you would like them to appear using a concept called the grammar of graphics. ggplot2 allows you to easily create simple visualizations while also permitting you to define the precise details of visualizations as specifically as you would like. Now, before we go to the R Studio to understand the concept of the ggplot2 better, let us first spend some time on understanding the grammar of graphics. The grammar of graphics lies at the heart of the ggplot2 and also lies at the heart of how we define our visualizations. You can think of grammar of graphics as very similar to the grammar of any spoken or written language. The grammar of graphics consists of the set of rules that we follow to make sure that we construct our sentences that other people can understand. In the similar way, the grammar of graphics helps us to construct the graphics which are easily understandable. The grammar of graphics has three important components as shown in this table. First, we must have some data that we would like to visualize. Then, we have to use the geometries to define the shapes that we would like to use to visualize our data. This might be points for a scatter plot, lines for a line graph, or bars for a bar or column graph. Then we can modify the aesthetics of those geometries to convey different meanings. For example, we may want to modify the color, size of the geometries that we have chosen. Now, let us try to understand the concept of grammar of graphics with the help of an example in RStudio. Now, let us first import the ggplot2 library. Before you do that, just make sure that you already have installed the ggplot2 library using install.packages function. Once you are done with that, then we will be exploring the diamonds dataset which comes as a part of the ggplot2 function. So let us look at how this dataset looks like. In this dataset, we have the information of about 50,000 diamonds. For each of the diamonds, we have the information like the weight or the carat. The other information that we have is the cut, that is the quality of the diamond, if that is of the ideal quality, of the premium quality, or of the good quality. Then we also have the information like the color, the clarity, the depth, the table, the price, and the dimensions of the diamond. The dimensions like length, breadth, and the height. These dimensions are represented by x, y, and z variables. Now, to understand the concept of the grammar of graphics, we will be using this diamonds dataset. Let us begin. So the first thing to do is to specify the dataset. That is, we will first call the ggplot function, and then we will specify the data. Here, we will be using the diamonds dataset. Now, if I just run this command, now when I run this command, notice that nothing happens except that it just shows us an empty graph with no x's, no y's, no points. So this is because at this point we have not specified what variables to be used and what geometries have to be used. Once we are done with this, once we have specified the data, the next step is to specify the geometry. By geometry, what we mean is we need to specify whether we want our visualization to contain points, or we want bars, or we want lines, or we want something else. So for that, we first of all write plus, and then we use geom underscore points if we want to plot the points on our visualization. Histogram, geom underscore histogram if you want to plot histogram. As you can notice that we have so many options of the geometries. We have AB line, we have area, we have box plot, and so on. For this example, we will be using the point geometry. So this is the second step where we specify which geometry has to be used. And once we have specified which geometry has to be used, then the next step is to specify the mappings and the aesthetics. By mapping, what we mean is we have to specify what variables are to be used, whether we want to use x as the caret or any other variable, and what variable we want to use as the y variables. For some plots, we may just want to use one variables, for example, histograms. Here, say, on this diamonds dataset, we want to plot some points, and on the x-axis, we want the caret variable, and on the y-axis, we want the price variable. If I just run this, now in here, when I'm running this, we get a scatter plot like this. We have the caret on the x-axis and the price on the y-axis. Notice that we have used all the major components of the grammar of the graphics to come up with this simple visualization, and all the great visualizations are the result of putting together all these three things, as we will see in the later videos. So, first of all, we specified the data, and then after the plus, we specified which geometry has to be used. And within that, we specified the aesthetics also. In the aesthetics, we can also specify properties like color. Say we want the color to be red. It will just give us the red color. Now, say that we want the color to be distinguished by this variable, which is the cut variable. That is, for every different cut, we want a different color on the scatter plot. We can just specify the variable over here, and as a result, we will see that our scatter plot has different colors for all of these cuts. So for example, yellow is now for the ideal cut, the green is for premium, and so on. So now what we have seen is that any visualization is a result of the three elements of grammar of graphics, namely the dataset. Here we are using the diamonds dataset. The second thing is the geometry. Here we are using the points geometry. We could have used any other kind of the geometry. There are a lot of geometries present in the ggplot functionality. The third thing is the aesthetic. Another point to note over here is that in the aesthetic, we will have to specify x or y or whatever variables we want to plot. So this has to be done every time. Apart from that, we can also specify aesthetics properties like color, size, transparency, and so on. So in the next videos, we will be seeing how we can manipulate all these components to create great visualizations.